Good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk all about genetic testing and what does that even mean. Epigenetics is the study of how our environment and our choices impact our genes. Our genes don't change, but if you've ever heard that saying that genes load the gun and environment pulls the trigger, it's so true. What you do on an everyday basis can turn genes on and off, and that is the study of epigenetics. I am a certified epigenetics coach, and I help people unlock their wellness by decoding their own genes and optimizing their health based on exactly what their genetics needs. Some really common questions that come up are, is it a blood draw? It is not. It is a simple cheek swab. It takes about 5 to 6 weeks from start to finish, from the time you decide you want to do a genetic panel until we have the results. Once you choose what package you would like, then we send you the test kit, you do the swab, it's got simple instructions, you mail it off. 4 to 5 weeks later, we'll have the results. What I offer is a recorded video of me going over your entire genetic blueprint so that you can watch it over and over, and a comprehensive document with notes on every single panel. You will also get a personalized supplement plan from FullScript with everything that you need based on your genes. No more trying out this supplement and that supplement. You don't really see results. You're not sure if it's working. We know based on your genes what you need, and it's so nice that it can be just all in one plan and you can just put it on a subscription and be done with it. So what do we find out? There are 7 different panels: nutrition, micronutrients, toxicants and inflammation, sleep, exercise, hormones, and skin health. There is an additional cognitive one that is super interesting, and I might be offering that soon also. I have different package sizes. If you feel really overwhelmed by new information, you might start small with the foundational 4. We can just do nutrition, micronutrients, toxicants and inflammation, and sleep. That's the foundation that you really need. Once you do your cheek swab, that information will always be housed in the system, and we can add on more reports without having to order a whole new swab test kit. So that's really nice that you can add to it. Having your own genetic blueprint can be a game changer for your health. Whether you're suffering from any kind of illness, or if you're symptomatic for anything, or if you really are just trying to biohack your life, having your own genetic blueprint is huge for that. Some things that you can learn during your genetic blueprint session with me is exactly what types of fats your body thrives on or what it might have trouble with. Do you do great with saturated fat, or do we need to focus more on polyunsaturated fats or monounsaturated fats? How many carbs do you need? Is it low carb? Is it high carb? Do you gain weight from dairy? Are you lactose intolerant? What are your genes for that? How much protein is optimal for you? Do you do well with a high protein diet or kind of a moderate protein diet? And then when we look at micronutrients, we look at so many vitamins and minerals. What is your propensity or risk factor for being deficient? Is your propensity based on your genetics to have a normal level, a high level, a low level? So that way you can know if you see on the back of your supplement that it has a ton of iodine, but you have a propensity to have a high iodine level, maybe that's not the right supplement for you. It truly takes all the guesswork out. What about sleep, for example? We're gonna learn what's your propensity for having deep sleep. Are you at risk for poor deep sleep? What about excessive sleepiness? What about your risk for mood-induced sleeplessness or stress-induced sleeplessness? And then I can give you tools to help you with those things that you learn. Say you can't go to sleep because you're always really stressed out. We can work specifically on that, and it's really empowering to know, especially if you've been struggling with something for your whole life. I had one client say, oh my gosh, I learned that for me genetically, I'm at risk for not knowing when I'm hungry or full. Her appetite sensing was off. And she said, I never feel full. And it's so validating to know that my genetics back that up. And now we can put things in place to help with that. One of my favorite panels is the toxicants and inflammation. We look specifically at your body for the 3 phases of detoxification. Where do you need support? Does your body metabolize medications well? General medications, acetaminophen, NSAIDs. How fast do you metabolize mold or phthalates? Or do you have a risk for pesticides or arsenic? So if you feel really overwhelmed in the wellness space, like there's so many things that you can do to optimize your health. How do you even start? If we know your genetics, we could say, yes, Fluoride is where we need to start. So you need filtered water and you need fluoride-free oral care products. So it's really nice that we can zero in on exactly where to start and what to prioritize in your health journey. Something huge for me personally is knowing my ApoE status. That's how our body metabolizes fat and our risk factor to have these age-related diseases later in life. So I can make choices now. And some changes I've personally made in my life is I'm reaching less for saturated fat because it doesn't work for me genetically. I'm reaching for alcohol less because of my risk for age-related diseases and how it impacts my cognitive ability and also my cardiovascular health and my overall inflammation. So it really is shaping how I view things like alcohol. Even though I love a glass of wine, it's not worth it if I have this increased risk for something later in life. Nothing that we learn is diagnostic. That means if you learn something that maybe is not the best news, it doesn't mean one day you're definitely going to have that disease. It means that you have a propensity or a risk factor to develop it, but the choices you make now could turn that gene on or off or alter how it's expressed, which is so exciting. In the exercise panel, you can learn about your propensity for building muscle mass or building strength. How well do you recover from exercises? Do you do well with cardiovascular or high intensity workouts? What is your propensity to injury for soft tissue and Achilles, so we can really hone in on what exercises you do best with? And you might already know exactly what exercises you do best at, because often we intuitively know what we're good at, and that's what we kind of gravitate towards. The hormone panel, hugely impacted by lifestyle factors, but it is so great to know exactly genetically how you're wired with your hormones. Do you have an increased luteinizing hormone propensity, which also stimulates higher testosterone? Do you convert your testosterone to estrogen more than the average person? Does that mean you're having estrogen dominance, or do you eliminate estrogen well? And I can help walk you through what all of this means. Are you someone who has had your thyroid levels checked and you can never seem to get your TSH within range? Maybe genetically we find out that yours runs lower but is actually normal. That can be huge for some people. The skin health panel. This one is really interesting. I feel like it's not necessarily a must if you are more budget conscious, but it's really neat. What is your propensity for aging? Are you aging faster than the general population? Can we prioritize some antioxidant-rich skincare to slow that down? What are your risks for certain skin cancers? And how can we talk about safe sun exposure to help decrease some of these risks like sunspots, skin cancer, wrinkles, early aging? I know that some of these are a little bit more on the vanity side and not as much on the health side, but I think all of us want to age gracefully. If we can look at how you're wired with your genes, then we can really optimize your skin health and your overall health. A few frequently asked questions are, will I ever have to get this test done again? The answer is no. Your genes never changed once we have the swab. That's it. We can add more panels on, but you'll never have to do the swab again. Is it FSA or HSA eligible? The platform that I use is called Healthy. So when you go in to make a payment, you can use your HSA or FSA card if you have that amount loaded on there. Another question, what is the difference in this test and something like a 23andMe? And that's a great question. So a 23andMe is a direct-to-consumer test where you can get your genetics done, you can learn about your heritage, and there are some health implications and things that you can learn on 23andMe. The difference is they are not as up to date on the research. On the platform that I use for my epigenetic testing, there is a researcher on staff who that is his job, and he does not take breaks. So the research is current. Those other tests that are direct to consumer are about 8 to 10 years behind on the research. The researcher with the platform that I use is constantly updating it. And even since I've had my swab done, clients that I did reports for yesterday, they might have an update and you just click update now, and that new information will take your genes and it will run it through the algorithm and update your report. So it is ever changing. Your genes aren't changing, but what we know about our genes and the current research is always changing. How much does it cost? That's a very common question. I have all of my packages listed out on my website with the price so you know exactly what to expect. It is an investment in your health. It is something that I personally saved up for And once I had it, I wish I would have done it sooner. So just know it's an investment, but it is not like a gut test or a blood test. We're gonna have to get rechecked. Once you have this test, you have this information for the rest of your life. Another bonus with doing this type of testing with an epigenetic coach is I can take your intake form with all of the detailed questions that I ask, and I can take your genes and my knowledge as a registered dietitian, and I can put all that together with really personalized recommendations. Unlike in a 23andMe, you'll get your genetic snip back and it might say you have an ApoE33 status with no explanation. And then what do you do with that? Whereas if I get that back and I say, okay, you have an ApoE status 3.3, and given this with your saturated fat and given this with your lifestyle, this is what I recommend. So you really get personalized results versus just your genetic snips back that you have no idea what to do with. What's the next step for you? You're ready to get your genetic blueprint done. The best thing to do would be to check out the different packages on my website, thepaleodietitian.com. I have an epigenetics coaching landing page. You can look at the different packages. I have anything from the foundational 4 to the comprehensive 7 panel if you want to know all of the things. And once you start knowing a few of the panels, I promise you're going to want to know all of the panels. If you're someone who gets overwhelmed easily, start small. We can always add on later. I only take a certain amount of clients per month because these genetic panels do take some time to go through the results and help walk people through them. I do have a few openings left for July. Send me a message, check out my website. It's time to stop guessing with your health, throwing spaghetti against a wall to see what's going to stick, and figure out exactly what's right for you and your genes and optimize your health with your own genetic codes.